You know, it's really weird doing these movie reviews because a movie will come out first in the US and then everyone over there will have their say about it online. Then it'll come out in Australia and you're like, well, I wasn't the first to it. What the fuck can I add that hasn't already been said? But I got over that pretty quick because it's fun as hell to do this anyway. So, Longlegs was directed by Oz Perkins and it stars Micah Monroe, Blair Underwood, and Nicolas Cage. And it's about, well, the trailer didn't tell you what it's about, so I'm not going to do that either. And thank God, because movie trailers tell you almost the entire movie anyway these days, which is so fucking annoying, so props to them for that. So I guess I'll start off with what I liked, and at the very top of that list is Nicolas Cage is weird as fuck. In this movie, I mean, he plays this really weird and lonely character, but you find out as the movie goes along that he has a real passion and dedication for what he does. And a little bit to the effect of what I said before, he plays one of the weirdest characters I think I've ever seen him play, but he really fucking sells it. And another layer that really adds to his performance in this movie is actually the makeup that's done for his character. You might have heard something along the lines of Nick Cage is unrecognizable in this movie, and he really is. But enough of Nick Cage. I also really liked Micah Monroe and Blair Underwood in this movie. They're a bit of an unlikely duo trying to solve a case together. Like, one of them is just trying to have a bit of fun every now and then and blow off some steam from work, but the other one is a bit like that weird kid in school that you try to stay a bit away from, but they also always have the right answers somehow. This movie's a thriller, by the way. I know everyone online has been saying this is like the scariest movie of the year, but it's not really a horror. It delves a little bit into it, like it dips its toes into the horror genre, but it's first and foremost a thriller. And I know thrillers can be scary as well, but what really terrified me about this movie in particular was the way it built tension. Because for the most part, this movie takes place in a really quiet setting. So almost every noise you hear gives you this really unsettling feeling and makes you feel like something's about to jump out at you. Like, my theater was so dead fucking silent and locked into what was happening on screen, I almost felt bad eating my popcorn because it was making way too much noise. Like, the music only ever kicks in to really help elevate a scene that's already so good, and when it does, it's so eerie. Alright, that's probably enough of what I liked about this movie, and I really like this movie up until the end. Obviously, I'm not going to share any spoilers or give anything away about the ending, but there's just something that happened in the final act of this movie that really annoyed me, and it kind of ruined everything that led up to it. So, a thriller usually has a mystery to be solved, and in the first two acts, generally, the characters are putting the puzzle pieces together and trying to figure out what's going on. But instead of allowing the audience to pick up on those breadcrumbs that were left in the first two acts and to let us connect the puzzle pieces together for ourselves and fill in the blanks of what happened, they just had to add this entire fucking monologue at the end detailing how this whole mystery has been going under everyone's nose. Legitimately, if you cut out that entire fucking monologue, you get a far more shocking revelation at the end and a way more satisfying conclusion too. But of course not, because there just has to be a producer or a writer out there somewhere that doesn't believe in its audience and them understanding the nuances that happen at the beginning of this movie to piece together what happens and figure it out for themselves. Like, I truly believe a lot of directors out there want a far less conclusive ending to their story, because then the audience walks out of the theater with more questions than answers, and there's far more intrigue into the ending. But no, we need to spoon feed and word vomit every intention of every character in a story to our audience because they're too dumb to figure it out for themselves. You know what? I'll just show you how this conversation usually goes. Yeah, man, I'm so happy with how this script turned out. I cannot wait to see how audiences react to all the breadcrumbs and nuances we left them in the first two acts and see what kind of conclusion they come up with at the end.
Nuance? What the fuck is even that? Don't tell me that's one of those new fucking Gen Z pronouns they keep making up these days. You know, I still don't understand the fucking ending to Inception. Did DiCaprio get out of that fucking dream or not? No, you tell this audience exactly how this movie ends, or you're not getting the green light. Good day, sir.
What the fuck? Alright, that little skit aside, I actually really enjoyed this movie for the most part. It's just those endings that have to word vomit everything out to their audience for them to understand it just really pisses me off, and I'm so tired of hearing it and seeing it in movies. That being said, Longlegs is probably a movie I would not rewatch. Don't get me wrong now, it's a really well-made movie. The ending just pisses me off so much. That's it. Before I go though, let me just put you on a bit of game real quick. Prisoners is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's a thriller. And there's a mystery within the mystery of this movie that gets solved but goes unspoken. And it's literally just there for those that were paying attention. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend going to watch that. And if you have seen it, I recommend watching it again because there are so many details that you miss that you pick up on each time you watch it. Anyway, thanks for watching if you made it this long. I have been looking at viewer analytics recently on YouTube Studio, and it's really weird seeing that viewer attention only lasts about a minute to 3 minutes max. That's so fucking weird. So if you made it this long, thanks. I am done talking shit.